Welcome to Ed Fluential Sports, where passion meets precision. I'm your host, Ed, dive deep into the plays, players, and stories shaping the game. And this is episode 22 of We Op Hunting. So 20, drop 21, talking about fatal influence and why they should be the next women's tag team champions in WWE. So now we're going to bring it to AEW and talk about Jay White and basically how I book his return and how I instantly insert him in the championship scene. Now, I do think Jay White is a guy that could instantly be in the main event scene when he comes back, but it's already pretty crowded. You already got a few guys up there that's definitely gonna carry the future. You got the MJF, Osprey, Swerve. Then there's a few others. I don't know what the plan with Hangman is whenever he comes back. But Jay White, he could be inserted in that. But if he gets a world title, it'll just be once. But I think when he come back, throwing him in the world title scene, you just know he will lose. But he's had the opportunity once, I think, maybe twice. But I know he had it one time against MJF. There's original loss, but him beating MJF, it would have been a shock moment, but I don't think it would have made sense at the time. But I think this is the way that you bring him back by making him Continental champion. And the way you do it is all in. You need something big at all in. That's your biggest pay per view of the year. Mercedes is likely going to win the Owen Hart tournament, and she won it last year, so she's likely going to go back to back and get another title match at all in. And she's going to win this time. She's not going to win the Owen back to back years and lose the world title match back to back. That wouldn't make any sense at all. That'd be like the Nets in the early 2000s getting to back-to-back finals in a non-scripted sport, and they end up losing both because they had to face Shaq and Tim Duncan. Tony Storm and Tekla, that they're not that. But anyways, Jay White, I would have him return at All In. I don't know what Moxley's doing at All In because it's some stuff is clear already. A lot of it isn't because they're still building for Forbidden Door and they got time to build for All In. But it'll likely be some with Shane Taylor's promotions if they keep dragging that. Well, not dragging it, but I didn't know what other word to use. But if they continue that story for the next couple of months, obviously I know they did their thing. If they continue that, then that might be what they're doing, him and Shane Taylor. But whoever he faces, I think Moxley retains because there's nobody that's really credible enough to beat Moxley for the Continental title at this point. So this is where Jay White comes in. Once Moxley and the Death Riders, whatever they win, whether they win a match or lose, assuming that whether it's a tag match or Moxley in its own match, whenever match Moxley is in or part of, I expect Jay White to show up after that. And that's how Tony Khan should book it. Have Jay White return after that, press Moxley, call him out saying that he wants the Continental Championship. And you can cut the promo on the same show or save it for Wednesday. Maybe you just do the stare down at the pay-per-view. You get the big pop, and then you get the first promo on that following Dynamite or Collision. And Jay White basically saying that he's came back. He's still leading the Bang Bang Gang, Guns, Juice Robinson, and Ace Austin. But you got to lead them in the right direction and show them what it's like to hold championship gold. Because they ain't really did that. The Guns did as tag champions, but he want all the guys in his group to thrive. And it starts with him bringing back control, making sure they're not doing nothing goofy, which they haven't, but they haven't been doing anything of relevance either. So it'll just be like him coming back into the fold, putting everything together. Because Ace Austin was a new addition while he was gone, and now all five of them together. And so you could even do some stuff with the Bang Bang Gang and the Death Riders. They can have some tag matches, even a 5-on-5, even though, yeah, like you could do some stuff with that. But I think the perfect way to do it is once Jay White comes back, then Moxley's like, I'm not backing down from anybody, but you just came back. So let's see if you're really ready to go and put him against the test, have him go against everybody in the Death Riders. And now this is assuming that then we don't know where Osprey lies, assuming that he's champion or not. Because if Osprey loses the swerve, then Osprey, Jay White is right there. And then wherever you go, it could be like, or Osprey could be the last match and it ends up. And yeah, Osprey can be the last match because I know exactly how. But I just started this off the top. But Moxley could be like, I'm not afraid of anybody, but you just came back from injury, so I know you're rusty and you have no chance of beating me. So let's see you can get through everybody in the Death Riders. And if you can do that, and you got yourself a championship match. So now the story is he has to get through everybody in the Death Riders, including Osprey, to get a match against Moxley for the Continental title. He even got to go through Marina Shafir, but then a mixed tag match. He got to find a partner to help him out and get this W. Now, who that may be, who Marina Shafir has beef with at the moment, can't think anybody. I know Isaiah Steele was recent, so you don't want to revisit that too fast. but that's just something you could go back to, just because Zeta Steel, she not really doing anything. So he could pull Zeta Steel, be like, let's have this tag match to go up against Marina Shafir and Willa Yuta, and then they can end up getting a win, or they can end up losing that, and Marina pins Zeta Steel, and Jay White can be like, no disrespect to Zeta Steel, but if it wasn't for this mixed tag match, I easily could have beat Willa Yuta. That's how you set up the first one-on-one match. Because you don't got to throw him into a tag match immediately, and then you can set that up. He beat Willa Yuta, take like 5-7 minutes, won't be super long. Then next, Daniel Garcia, Jay White, like, ain't you the guy that used to be dancing all the time? Don't you want to go back to that? You don't even like being in this group. So he could really expose Daniel Garcia because he was just dancing on Collision, I think. So he could really expose that, even though we all seen it. But then he could be like, you really don't want to be in this group. You really hate it. But you made your bed, now you gotta lie in it. And then that's how you set up that match between him and Daniel Garcia. He gets the win there. Then obviously Bryan Danielson gonna be backing him on commentary since he hates the Death Riders. It's a love-hate thing at this point with the Death Riders and Bryan Danielson, because I don't think you hate him as much now, but he definitely still hate him because they put him out of action storyline wise. I don't think he's coming back anyways, but he didn't officially retire, so that's still kind of weird. And then you can get next Jay White versus Pac. They don't even got to be much of a story here. Just two guys who can wrestle. Get the win. Obviously, like, he has to. Like, the only way he's getting this championship match is by beating everybody in the Death Riders. So then he beat Claudio. Now he done beat 4 of them, and now it's down to he beat Claudio, Pac, Willie Yuta, and Daniel Garcia. Now it's down to 2, and obviously he lost to Marina Shafir, but he didn't get pinned in the match, so that's gonna justify why he's still able to go through this. And then before he gets to Ospreay or Moxley, they force him to go one-on-one with Marina Shafir, and knowing Jay White, even though he's a face, he doesn't have to care because he's not some sweet baby face. Like, he's a guy who he's willing to fight anybody. So now you got to take down Marina Shafir, and he's able to do it. This was his toughest test up to this point because Marina Shafir, she can wrestle with the best of them, but he ended up getting the win against Marina Shafir. Now he's 5-1, basically 5-0 in singles matches, and now it's down to Ospreay and Moxley. Now, this is where it gets tricky. Him and Moxley can battle to a time limit draw, so he didn't lose the match. So it's going to justify why they should fight again, and the second time not have a time limit. But then he has to beat Ospreay. But as Ospreay is about to lose, now if Ospreay isn't world champion, then Jay White can beat him, and it'll be fine. But if he's world champion, he can be on the verge of beating him. Death Riders attack him. Jay White gets the win by disqualification. Then it has to be Jay White versus Jon Moxley nonetheless. That's not only did he beat everybody else in the group, but he also battled to a time limit draw with Moxley. And in the Ospreay match, he had the world champ on the verge and won by DQ because the Death Riders was scared that he was going to lose that match and have to face Moxley anyways. So then, I don't know how many weeks this would take, but I think this will go past All Out and into, I forget what's after All Out, but this goes into World's End if it's not something in between that. But I think then you could definitely extend it with promos in between with other matches, like I said, 5v5 tag matches, stuff like that. And then because the goal is that Jay White just has to win all the singles matches. If he loses a tag match here and there, and not saying he got to lose every tag match or trios match, and that also would be kind of stupid. He can win a couple, lose a couple, it'll be whatever. But then by World's End, I think, which is in December, that's why I said you got to start at All In, because All In is in August. I'm pretty sure that's early. Okay, I could be wrong. I gotta search that up. I'm pretty sure it's late August though. Yeah, All In is late August. It's August 30th, so he could come back then. And then it'll basically be from September to December if it ends at World's End. And that's when you have Moxley versus Jay White for the Continental Championship. Jay White gets the win. He becomes new Continental Champion. And then the Bang Gang is on the search to win other titles. Now, whether they win other titles or not, they don't really have to, but they can be And it don't got to be immediate too. Like they're all trying to collect belts, but it could be like Jay White establishing himself as a leader, as the champion for like a couple of months, and then that's when it's like, oh, the guns. They decide they want to go after the tag titles and get gold too. Ace Austin, he can go after one of them Ring of Honor titles, and then I think it's then Juice Robinson. He can go after a mid card title or Ring of Honor title, and then they don't all got to be champions at the same time. But throughout the faction, they don't got to break up. They can stay together while one wins champion. When Jay White loses his, then Juice Robinson can win a title, whatever, vice versa with the other guys in the group, stuff like that. But that's how I would book it. Once All In, I'm expecting Jay White to be back soon, and I think All In is the perfect place to do it. Starting a feud with the Bang Bang Gang and the Death Riders, which they have teased in the past, but it could be even more relevant if you bring back Jay White and have him be the one to dethrone Moxley at the end of the year, winning the Continental Championship at World's End. I think they do the Continental Classic at the end of the year, so I think he would have to go through that. But yeah, they do the Continental Classic, and AEW does tournaments well, so you could also justify a triple threat match with whoever wins the Continental Classic with those two who meet in the finals, and Jay White being in it because he did go through the Death Riders. So it'll likely have to be before uh or the or now that I just remembered that the Continental Classic ends the year, you could have this happen in November. He beats him on a November Dynamite, and then the Continental Champion has to be in the Continental Classic. Jay White, Moxley, they meet in the finals because Moxley, their first match was a time limit draw. Second match, Jay White won, and then this is Moxley getting his rematch because former champions always get their rematch clause in AEW. And the way for Moxley to do it, he wants to go through the tournament again, get back his title, and obviously Jay White has to be in it since he's champion. And then you get the rematch at World's End, and Jay White retains. So that's the because a tournament shouldn't end in a triple threat match, in my opinion, and it hasn't in AEW. No, especially the Continental Classic, it's never ended with a triple threat for no reason. So that's how I would book it. I just had to change it real quick because the Continental Classic does end the year, which is one of my favorite tournament in wrestling currently. Best of the Super Juniors is cool. King of the Ring is kind of dead. King and Queen of the Ring is dead. Best of the Super Juniors in New Japan is cool. I do think they could have won it. Yeah, no, it was cool. I think Yo won it this year, which I'm not mad at. He got far last year. But yeah, Continental Classic, definitely my favorite tournament in wrestling. But that's how I booked Jay White's return. I booked Bang Bang Gang into a feud with the Death Riders, and I think that'd be a really great way to close the year. So let me know what y'all think. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts, and share for others to see.